First, look at what we are trying to prove. In this problem, we are trying to prove that triangle CNG is congruent to triangle DNG. Have to construct a proof where vertex C corresponds to vertex D, and both vertex N and vertex G correspond to themselves. Now look at the given information. We are given that angle C is congruent to angle D. We are also given that segment CN is congruent to segment DN, and that segment CG is congruent to segment DG. Lastly, we are given that angle CNG and angle DNG are right angles. In order to prove congruence, these two triangles have to satisfy the definition of congruent triangles. In other words, they must have 3 pairs of congruent corresponding sides and 3 pairs of congruent corresponding angles. From our given information, we already have 2 pairs of congruent sides. What statement could we make about the third side? Segment GN. We can say that segment GN is congruent to itself by the reflexive property. Now we have 3 pairs of congruent sides. We need to show that we also have 3 pairs of congruent angles in order to complete our proof. First, look back at the given information. We already know that angle C and angle D are congruent. We also know that angle CNG and angle DNG are right angles. Therefore, they have the same angle measure. We can say that the two 90-degree angles are congruent by the definition of congruent angles. Our last piece of missing information is the third pair of angles, CGN and DGN. Since we already have 2 pairs of congruent angles, we can say that angle CGN is congruent to angle DGN by the third angle theorem. Now we have 3 pairs of congruent corresponding sides as well as 3 pairs of congruent corresponding angles. Therefore, triangle CNG is congruent to triangle DNG by the definition of congruent triangles.